welcome to the Galactic Mind Weather Report. So I'm coming to you in the center of the 13 days of the red Serpent Wavespell. So this is a really potent time where the energies for rising up and really tapping into your life force to step forward into the life that you came here to live. But with that process, it comes with an intensity, because in order to step forward and fully activate our life force and have it running through our bodies, to have ourselves fully awake is what that means. And to be fully awake means that we are fully conscious of all aspects of ourselves. That means fully conscious of our shadow side as well as our light side. Because if we just focus on the good things about ourselves, then we can get stuck in this kind of obscure idealism where things don't actually make sense. Life is not congruent because we see only one side of the painting. And it becomes a very blasé type of painting. You know, if you paintings without contrast, light will just be white. You know, the dark will just be black. You know, all great pieces of art have some kind of contrast, you know, the shadow and the light against each other. And in this shadow and light, we can bring them together and create alchemy. And it's through that alchemy that it mutates and creates a new form. And so, as we move through this red Serpent Wavespell, this energy that's waking up in us all is going to stir up our different energy centers, you know, and that's going to tap into different themes. And one of the core issues that we have in our humanity is around our lower energy centers, what they would call the base chakra and your sacral. Now, whatever your belief system, this represents essentially that when we stand up in our power, no matter how much your heart is open, you're speaking your truth, you're really open and clear with your mind, if you don't have a solid base, then it all just falls over when it comes under pressure. And the Kundalini is rising up from the base and waking up those centers. And the base is all about security. It's about tribe. It's about, you know, having enough, feeling that you have enough food, water, shelter, you know, safety. It's the part of us that is the foundation of being human. Is, you know, we are born to live in tribes, to be connected, to be safe. And if our base chakra, you know, this base energy, this whole thing that's about security, if we have wounding there, which I dare say almost all of us do, I can't say all because I don't know, but most of us, we all have some kind of wounding around these themes of belonging, these themes of, you know, being safe, trust, security, having enough. You know, poverty consciousness. It's this idea that there's not enough to go around, so we have to fight for it. And if we don't have a solid base, when that energy begins to rise up, it begins to trigger all the places we don't have that security, we don't have the trust in that sense. And so you might have that coming up for you now. And then as that energy goes further up, not only will it start showing you where your incongruency is in your belief systems around your reality, because, you know, it'll show you where are you fearing, where are you projecting this lack, where are you projecting this insecurity out into the world, so that it will reflect it to you and tell you, yes, you're right, continue being a victim. Because that's kind of what happens. We get stuck in it. And when we get stuck in it, we continually recreate it in our realities to justify where we are. And then when that energy goes up into the sacral, you know, this sacral is this creative powerhouse. It's our sexuality. It's where creativity itself kind of bubbles away into the world. But it's so full of shame. You know, we've been brought up to really look at sexuality as this idea of, you know, man, woman, this kind of really, you know, very dense kind of perspective of sexuality. And so our sacrals, which are all about creation, have been stifled and wounded, and they're filled with shame, and they're kind of bound up. And so that serpent energy is going to be stirring that up too. So you might see these issues reflecting around you, reflecting back to show you, where is your focus? Where are your belief systems? What are you using to continue to perpetuate this victim pattern? And this isn't a kind of pointing fingers saying, oh, it's your fault or my fault. It's no one's fault. It's human nature. It's this incredible experience of evolution, the evolution of consciousness. We go through grist. We go up against our weaknesses in order to see them, to be fully awake and present in them, and then take action to do something about them. So that's this red serpent wavespell. And we are in the center right now, in the blue resonant monkey. So the blue resonant monkey is the archetype that kind of codes how we bring ourselves back into alignment to continue this process of the red serpent, of fully awakening into our bodies. And the blue resonant monkey is the illusionist, it's the trickster, the sacred trickster. And it's guided by the blue resonant knight, meaning that it's guided by the vision, by the dreaming, this higher dreaming. And this monkey enters our lives today to play mischief, not to be mean, but to trick us, to show us just how ridiculous our belief systems are, just how crazy it is the way we perceive our reality, the way we play victim, when we are in fact incredible creators. We are the fingertips of God, of existence. And we are here to hone our capacity, to take this gift of being human, to overcome the challenges, to rise up from being a victim, and to stand in our powers as gods, and to co-create our reality together as we move forward into this incredible future. And so this blue resonant monkey comes in to say, stop taking it so serious. We're all suffering from a terminal case of seriousness on this planet. And when we take it so serious, it suffocates our life force, it strangles it. No matter how much that kundalini wants to come up, we fall prey to our fears and to our shames because we take it so damn serious. And the best medicine for shame is humor. Because when we can laugh at our own journey and we can share it with another and they can laugh at it, then everyone can begin to feel safe to be fucked up. We can be safe to have this wounding, to have this shame, and to have these weaknesses and these blind spots in ourselves. And we can stop trying to be so perfect. And when we stop trying to be so perfect, and when we stop taking this so serious, and when we allow ourselves, when we're triggered, instead of projecting outwards and continuing this game of, yeah, see what I mean? See, it's happening again. This is why I'm a victim to life. But when we get triggered, when we can instead turn that story around and follow the feeling, the shame, follow the fear back inside, and then you'll see some surface things come up. Go deeper. Because again, the ego is trying to create this blame game. It's like, yeah, but it's out there. Follow that shame, follow that fear inside. And if you go deep enough, you'll find the source. And it usually goes back to childhood. Who are you trying to please? Who are you trying to look good in front of? Who are you trying to satisfy? Whose belief systems have you taken on at a young age that are impossible to live up to, yet you are breaking yourself trying to? Because when you allow life to trigger you, and when you follow it back in, you can find the root cause of your own insecurities. You can find the root cause of your shames and all the blames and guilts and all these different things. And you can rip them out by the root simply through your awareness of them. By just watching. Use your breath. I went through this today myself. It was an incredibly intense journey around midday. My son was triggering me about something, and then something else, and then that led to something else, and then suddenly there was money fears. There was these fears around this. How is this going to happen? I said I'd do this. I promised this. And all this started building up, and I just wanted to sit there and go, it's everyone else. And it was really just, I was feeling oppressed. I was feeling trapped, and like a lion, I was lashing out. I was, and I had all this aggression that's pent up coming out. And it felt shit. It felt horrible. I felt so bad. And here I am. Who am I to speak when I still go through these processes? But it's what being human is. And so what I did was the first was to breathe. I was angry. I had these emotions soaring through. It was unbearable inside me. And I didn't want to take it out on my son, but I was at times. The poor bugger was copping it. And everything was copping it around me. And it was burning inside. And so I brought my awareness, I followed into the anger, and I stopped, and I had the beautiful support of others that contacted me at the right time. But I stopped projecting outwards and I followed that discomfort. I followed the anger and I watched where it was coming from. And layer upon layer, these illusions, this is the trickster. We have this layer, oh, that's what's causing it. Oh, no, oh, hang on, there's something deeper. That's what's causing it. No, oh, wow. And it came right down to some very deep father issues that I have. I didn't want to disappoint my father. I didn't want to let him down. I didn't want him not to be proud of me. And it seems ridiculous. It seems ridiculous when I realized what was underlying this outburst right here and now was rooted in my childhood. And it was very alive in the past. And time traveling through and projecting itself out of me. Because those memories are stored in our cells. If we don't digest our emotions at the time we have them, then they stay stored up until one day they need to come up and be digested. So follow it back. And during that process, I breathed. Now it was pretty heavy breathing. It was and I just breathed. I got that oxygen down into my base. Get your body oxygenized when you're in those intense situations. Feed it oxygen. Bring it. Visualize the breathing going down into your base chakra. That's down in your perineum at the bottom of your base. Because that's where the oxygen needs to go. Then your body can feel safe. And it can start backing off the fight and flight program. And you can start becoming consciously aware in the moment. And that's where you can start changing patterns. So this Red Serpent Wavespell is giving us an incredible chance, an incredible opportunity to evolve our capacity to live through instinct, to be able to be sharp, to find our way through our senses and handle the triggers that happen along the way, to survive them in order to become stronger. And this blue resonant monkey wants to remind you to play. Go through the intensity when you have it. Deal with it, follow it, and then laugh at it. Laugh at it. Not in a sadistic, nasty kind of way, but just the innocence of a child that, oh my God, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And it's insane. And yet, this is hands down the best experience in the entire galaxy to be witnessed right now. If there was a cosmic version of Netflix, then this human experience we are all sharing together will be featured on it, front page. And you and I, we're blessed to be leading characters. So what are you going to do? You're going to lay down and stay in that victim, that really safe, uncomfortable place? Or are you going to let this life force fire up and you're going to let these triggers wake you up? And go back and take responsibility for your behaviors. Take responsibility for your day-to-day. No matter how tough it is, everyone can do something. Now yes, it may be harder to do what everyone else is doing. Don't worry about them. Just find out, what can you do? One step closer to the life you want to live. What can you do now? And let this monkey show you the way through the illusions of the mind. Clear it out. And wake up that inner child. And I'll see you next Wavespell. So much love. In Lakesh.